Okay, we'll start with a opening statement and then take some questions.
Well, I'd like to welcome Mike Buddy to West Point. That's a great way to start. As I told him up there, that's our first night at the yard. What a battle. First off, just so much respect for Rice and the job that they did tonight. Coach Bloomgren had talked about, we listened to his press conference, and he talked about how they wanted to be a physical team, and really was coaching that into that team and developing that culture in the program, and said, we're going to go to Army and go toe-to-toe with them, and they did. And that game could have gone either way. But our guys in the end just found a way, and that 96-yard drive, I think, was just a great testament to the will of this team and the want to and the toughness. We took that thing down the field and just kept pounding it. And we had some struggles in the first half, particularly. We had negative yardage plays and weren't sustaining blocks. And credit Rice, they were doing a pretty good job. But, it's a great drive. And our defense to play the way they did all night. We gave up, obviously, the one score, and there were two big plays. They had a wheel route on third down out of the backfield, and we had a guy that was covering him, and it was a little bit of a broken play, and that the quarterback got flushed and had to scramble, and the kid just got behind us, and we turned and looked back at the quarterback, which is a cardinal sin in that position. You want to keep your eyes on the receiver. He didn't. The guy got behind him, and the kid made a sliding catch. The very next play, they hit a run play for a touchdown, and our guys were playing hard. We didn't protect the cutback, and guys ran by. Guys that kind of should have been in position, and it was because they were playing hard. And that's their assignment is to stay there and where they're supposed to be. We just didn't do it. But it was two big plays. They scored 7 points, and I thought the rest of the night our defense really played their butts off. And right down to that last drive, we had a pass interference and gave them some life. And I was on the offensive side, switched over and talked to them about let's get our 1 minute offense ready and make sure we go back through the Hail Mary passes and all those things, because if they scored and went for 2, we were going to have to put a drive together pretty quick. But our defense just kept battling, and they overcame that penalty and got them in 4th and 1. And John Luce called the play. He said it's going to be a power pass, and we had a good call, and he got a good throw off. Jalen was waiting on the receiver. Guy ran a corner route, and just enough to knock the thing out. And the ball was on the ground, and in that drive, we had a chance to recover and didn't. It seemed like an eternity went back onto the clock there when that play happened. But we just overcame a lot, and I'm really proud of those guys, their toughness in the kicking game. Really uneventful, other than we had a freshman kicker who had never kicked in a college football game before, hit every one of his kicks. A punter in Zach Potter who had punted very sparingly, only in a couple situations in his career. Buried a punt down in the 6-yard line, and after the last touchdown, got a bad snap and got it down on the ground, and we got the kick through. It was a big play, maybe the biggest point in the game, and they scored and tie it up 14-14. That play was going to be real big. So just really proud of the guys and the way they battled and their belief. They never flinched, not one time did they flinch, and I'm really proud of them for that.
Coach, it just seemed like one of those games you probably had to coach a lot during the game, trying to get the offense in sync. In the third quarter, you had to punt out of your end zone, but then in the fourth quarter, you get the ball on the 4-yard line, and what happened that the team was able to run, what was it, 18 or 19 plays, 96 yards?
I think probably at that point, both teams were a little worn down and tired, and we just gutted it out. We just gutted it out, and that's not to take anything away from Rice. They do have a physical, tough football team, and And that's developed over time. A coach doesn't walk in and say we're gonna be physical, we're gonna be tough, and we're gonna stand toe to toe with people. You know, that happens by guys being coached that way and practicing that way, and they are, and they did a good job. But our guys were just determined that they were gonna find a way to put that thing in the end zone. And I wish we would have done a lot earlier in the night, but just the raw determination and the look in their eye. We just ran Army football and ran the ball right at them and blocked them and sustained blocks and broke some tackles, and it's just a great drive.
Talk about the rushing game. Can you talk about Connor's absence and perhaps the impact that it may have had on your offensive strategy tonight?
I don't think that his absence changed what we were going to do. We are very confident in those other guys. I think Sandon played really, really hard. Disappointed he fumbled the ball there when he broke out of it on that run in the third quarter. Kate Bernard went in there, ran the ball hard. I think those are capable runners. Connor got hurt in preseason camp, and kind of was coming out of it, and then had another injury while he was doing rehabilitation on the one, and it just set him back. So we're hopeful he's going to be ready to go this week. Our trainers are confident that he's going to be ready to go to practice early in the week this week. So he's a tough runner, and we certainly value him on our team, and I think he'll help our football team and help our run game, both with the ball and without the ball. So we bring guys in, and we recruit to this system, and we develop guys to play in this system. So when a guy goes down or we lose a starter, we're really probably not going to change very much of what we do. We believe in what we're doing, and I think that's at least to this point, the last few years have been pretty good to us.
When you go for a fourth down, sorry.
Go ahead, John, go ahead.
Early, and then third and fourth on the first drive, didn't make it. What was your reaction to that? I mean, you were surprised?
I don't know if I was surprised. I mean, we've made a lot of those. We get in short yards, and we've managed to find a way to cross the line, and it's very disappointing to be in 3rd and 2 and run straight ahead twice and not make it. Credit Rice, they did a good job, and we didn't. But those are the things that we do to try to win the game. And fortunately, we forced them into a field goal. They missed a field goal, the first of 2 misses on the night, and it's a big play in the game by our defense to stop them there and keep them from getting in the end zone, because they take the ball over in the first drive and they're on the 30-yard line or whatever it was, and a lot of guys could start to think, oh boy, here we go, or our guys just go out and play. That's what I'm proud of them. Why I'm so proud of them. They don't flinch. They just get in there and do their job.
Justin, go ahead.
And how do you feel like having a game like this to open the season, where you really have to gut it out, is going to prepare you for some of the tougher games you have?
Every year, there's going to be times where you got your back to the wall, and sometimes you go through a game and you don't find yourself in those situations. There are often times in each game is a little adversity that you got to overcome, but this was just a heavyweight slugfest from start to finish, and it was a battle. I think it's positive, and that our guys really had to play hard and had to have that determination in the fourth quarter to win, find a way to score a touchdown, find a way to get them off the field and not score there at the end of the game. And it's good for our team to do that and have a fourth quarter victory. We make a big deal out of the fourth quarter, and it was 7-7 going into the last period, and we won it. And that's what we talk about is having that ability to just will ourselves to win in the game when we're in that situation. And it's something that we didn't do a great job of early on in my tenure here, and we've done a lot better job as we've improved as a team. But
Coach, you had a lot of young players, especially up front on defense. As you said, they played well, except for a couple of moments. Eric Smith had a big night at linebacker. How did you feel your young defensive players did and held up in that last drive?
There's a lot of guys out there that have been in games, but not necessarily been the starter and played a whole game, Eric being one of them. He's a very physical player. He's going to improve the more he plays. We're probably going to learn a lot at that position as we go through the film from tonight, and hopefully that'll help us for next week and the weeks to come. The guys like Nolan Cockrell, who was on the scout team all last year, you see him running around out there in the game. Jeremiah Lowry doesn't have a lot of experience, hasn't played a whole bunch. He's in there playing a bunch of snaps. Malcolm Morrison, every time we got into nickel defense, he's running out there. He's a scout team guy last year. You didn't even know his name last year. So I was proud of those guys, and a lot of those guys came through both offensively, defensively, the kicking game, and playing in those kinds of games and coming out victorious in a game like that is, I think that helps them. And it does two things. One, it gives them some confidence that when you get your back to the wall, you can find a way to win. And two, it humbles the team. If there's any sense of this is going to be easy, or people are going to run for cover because we went 11-2 last year, it just gave us an indication that nobody's scared of us. They're going to line up and play us. So it's going to have to be our best effort every week.
Coach, does a game like this give you a chance to identify the areas where you really have to focus on for the weeks coming up?
I think so. I think there's enough in every phase. Offense, defense, kicking game that we could have done a lot better, that we're going to have to do better. We're certainly going to have to do it better next week. Holy smokes. Thought that team was a physical team, a good team. This team we're getting ready to play, they're going to have a bunch of guys that are going to play for a lot of money in about 12 months. We're going to be seeing them play out there in NFL uniforms. That's the kind of crowd we're getting ready to play this week. So if we don't prove that stuff, it'd be a long day up there in Michigan. So there's a lot of things we'll have to get fixed.
Great. Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks, Ken.
Okay, and that is the head coach of Army football, Jeff Monken, talking to media following today's win over Rise 4